it's Marie. I'm sorry, it's been a very, very long time since I last filmed. Life got in the way, and for those of you who already do YouTube videos, you guys know how much work it is just to set up like a studio and start filming and make sure you don't look like a hot mess. And it's Saturday, I've been up since 9 o'clock trying to prepare everything. So yeah, so I hope you guys are well, and I'm glad to be back. So let's get to business. So today's video is going to be about concealers. Let's talk about concealers. It's not only my issue, but I know a lot of people who have issues with finding the perfect concealer. If you have seen my previous videos, you know that my favorite one was the Erno Lazslo one, and unfortunately it was discontinued. Since then, I have been on a crazy search to find a dupe, the perfect one. And throughout the year, I've purchased and tested different various concealers, and I like to give my input on various ones. I have drugstore, I have high-end, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 12 concealers. Most of them are under-eye concealers. One I use for camouflage, basically cover up spots. And yeah, so I want to share with you my opinion, and hopefully this will help you, you know, better know what to go for and what not to go for. And so let's get started. So first off, the first one I started using once it was official that Erno Lazslo's concealer was gone was the Korres Concealer Corrector. I have shade 4, which is tan. Here you go. Hopefully it's picking up. It's a very nice consistency, however, because when I purchased this was spring and summer, it is dark for fall and winter. When you know you're pale, like I am like a tan olive skin, but I'm still pale in the winter, and I really like this. However, I cannot wear this in the winter time because of the fact that it's just not the right color for me. But this is a great concealer. Now, unfortunately, Sephora, where I got this from, is discontinuing it. From what I understood, it's because Korres is going to reformulate and update their makeup line with newer products. So right now it is on sale at your local your local Sephora. I believe it's 30% off, but because it's such a good sale, these items are flying off the rack. I wanted to buy shade 3, which would have been perfect, but it was already sold out. The one that's downtown still has a few shade 4s. If you think you can pull off a shade 4, which is a tan color, you know, go for it if you could still find it. And once again, this is the Korres Quercetin and Oak Concealer, which is anti-aging and anti-wrinkle, and it's a concealer and corrector because it does have like a pinkish undertone, which is good to neutralize the dark circles under the eyes. It's good, but I was still left wanting more. The next one I delved into was the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer, and I have shade medium tan. This is a really nice concealer. The only thing is that I find that it has way too much of a pinkish undertone. Now, yes, pink undertones are good for neutralizing the dark circles under the eyes, but if I want to use this as a spot concealer, I can't get away with it. I really have to blend it in so it doesn't show. The reason being is because I have a golden undertone. I have a yellow golden undertone, and this just doesn't blend well enough into the rest of my face as it does under the eyes. But under the eyes it's great. However, you do need to set this with a powder because despite saying creaseless, it does crease. But then again, I think it varies on your own under eye. Like mine, because my eyes are very deep set, I don't necessarily have dark circles, but I do have that shadow. And Also, because of the fact that I have a very poor sleeping pattern, you know, I have a little bit of like lines underneath, and I find that this does tend to accentuate the lines if I don't set this properly. But again, it's a great concealer. It's full coverage, it's waterproof. Long wearing, I don't know about that. I did try wearing this over the summer, and I do find that with the heat, the humidity, it does tend to get a little bit patchy. So I would recommend this more around the fall. Fall, early spring. Winter, again, it depends on the type of skin that you have. It's great for winter as well, but for summer, you'll need to apply this very lightly. And this is a very highly pigmented concealer. I'll bring it up close. Doesn't show, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's a good investment, but again, you have to be careful how you apply it. After that, I looked into the Estee Lauder Ideal Light Brush On Illuminator. The sales associate said, you know, I could use this as an under eye concealer, and it's great. However, it's too light, and it's just, I don't know, for me, I would use this more as a highlighting type of pencil, but I don't recommend using this as an under eye, well, in my case, because it doesn't last very long, and I don't see a difference before and after when I use this. Estee Lauder is a great brand. I'm pretty sure they have other concealers out in the market that are a lot better. Personally, I prefer going with more of a creamier texture under the eyes. I just find it works better for me. And, you know, it lasts longer. It's great, but it's not my favorite one, per se. After that, I decided to jump into the bandwagon and get the MAC Pro Longwear. As you can see, I have used this quite a lot. There's very little left, and I have it in NC 35. This is a great concealer. It is long wearing. However, this is not your best friend during the winter time. Because this has a thick texture, I find it to be very drying in the wintertime. I have oily skin, but in the wintertime, because of the harsh cold here in Montreal, I do get like dry areas around my face and primarily under the eyes, and this tends to cling. It also flakes. So this is a great investment. It's not very expensive. It's about $23, I believe. But this is ideally spring, summer. It's very long wearing. The only issue I have is the pump dispenser. Too much pumps out, and you end up wasting a lot of products. You really need to be careful how much you dispense, because you'll end up wasting a lot. But as you can see, I have loved this a lot, but for the winter time, I just had to put this down because it just wasn't working. As I mentioned, it does flake. I didn't notice creasing. I find that this one creases the less, which is what I really like, but I can't wear this in the winter time. It flakes like crazy. It's ridiculous, but nonetheless, spring, summer, this is amazing. Okay, so I found something similar to the Pro Longwear drugstore version. It's the Maybelline Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser. It's supposed to be a treatment concealer with goji berry and haloxyl. I have no idea what haloxyl is. It has a sponge tip applicator. A lot has been used. I like it. However, again, in the winter time, I find this to be too drying and flaky. My sister seems to like this a lot because I noticed that she's been using it a lot, because I don't remember bringing it so low, like around this, so much left. But it's a great concealer. It's under $10. I'd recommend it. For me, I really like it. Fall, I bought this in the fall and I really like it. However, winter time comes along, it doesn't provide enough coverage, and what I'm able to get, I find that it is drying and it does like flake up a bit, and it's very annoying. I've also tested out the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in color Biscuit. It's a great concealer. I really like it. I've loved NARS for over 12 years now. It was my first experience with makeup. My prom makeup was NARS, and I keep going back to NARS. I really like this concealer. I really do. It's just that I do find it does just like a tad crease a bit under the eyes, but it's very, very minimal. The color I got is in Biscuit. I do find it's a little bit dark for now, but it's ideal for spring, summer. And this is a good buy. I really like it. And I like the fact that NARS is a lot more careful with the ingredients they use. They're making sure like a lot of the products don't contain any parabens, any harsh chemicals like that. So I like the fact that they're becoming more conscious about the products they use, and they're looking more into making sure these products actually help you and not do the opposite. But yeah, the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, this is a good one. I also have the NARS Concealer in the stick formula, and again, Biscuit. I really like this. I carry this. This is the only concealer I carry with me in my purse. And I use this a lot for spot concealing, and I really like it. It covers very well, and it gives a very nice natural look. So it doesn't look like you're wearing concealer as long as you blend it in nicely. But I really like the creamy formula of this. And despite it being the same color as this one, I just find this works better all over my face. This one is too dark for under my eyes, and this is what I'd really use for under my eyes. For under my eyes, I tend to look for, like I mentioned earlier, creamier emollients, something that's also moisturizing. I find that if it's too thick of a texture, it does look patchy, it doesn't look natural, and it does crease. After that, there's not a lot left. I'm sorry, you guys are thinking, oh my god, this girl is crazy. What I also like to use for spot concealing is the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage, and I use SC5. You can see I've hit a little bit of pan. I love this. I like the fact that it comes with two different shades, like a salmon color and more of like a yellowy peach color, and it allows you to customize your own concealer to make it blend well with your skin. And I like the fact that this covers well your blemishes. I use this for blemish coverage, and it doesn't, and I find that it actually helps calm down the flare-up. It doesn't, it's not drying per se. It doesn't like make the blemish worse. It actually helps it calm it down. When you feel it, it is drying, but that's why I use a brush, and I always apply it with the Real Techniques Detailer brush. I'm sorry, it's a little bit dirty because I did just use it, and it just, holy grail. I love these for spot concealing. They're the best. Now, back to eye concealing. I recently discovered a really good technique that works for me. I recommend you look into it as well. It's about correcting. What I like to do now is I like to apply first a corrector on the inner parts of my eye, because that's where I find that's where there's the most shadow. And what really helps me is the Bobbi Brown corrector, and I use shade Bisque. My friend Stephanie, who works at Bobbi Brown, recommended I try it, and I absolutely love this. I cannot leave the house without having this under my eyes. Sometimes I'll just leave the house with just this and it does the job. And what I like applying this with is the Real Techniques crease brush. I just dab a bit in here, and then I just like stipple it on the inner parts of my under eye. I'm sorry. And this is absolutely amazing. And I like the fact that it's also moisturizing. Now, because it's moisturizing, it does crease a little bit, but when you set this with a concealer, you're set all day. And I like to combine this with 3 different types of concealers. On weekends, I like using the Josie Maran Argan Creamy Concealer. I use Light 2. As you can see, it's not very light, but it works for me. And it's very moisturizing, contains argan oil, and I really like this. I use this primarily for under my eyes. I haven't tried this on spots, and I'm really happy with the Laura Mercier one, so I don't want to really mix anything else, but I really like this one. And that's about $23. It's about the same price as the MAC Pro Longwear, and I think you get more in the Josie Maran than you do in the MAC. Here you get 3 grams of product. It's like a twist up as well, which I really like. And here you only get 9 millimeters. I don't know, I just find this would last me a lot longer than this because of the fact of like the really poor dispenser that's there. And I also like using the Clarins Instant Concealer. It's a smoothing, long-lasting, and it revives tired eyes, and I use shade 2. This does have a slight pinkish undertone. Just put this here. Yeah, exactly. And I really like this. It's a lot more liquidy. It has a similar texture as the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, but I just find this works a lot better in also moisturizing under the eye. This also does crease a bit, but again, setting with the powder. And I'll show you what powders I actually use to set the under eye. And I really like this. This also apparently has skincare ingredients in here, so it's not only just covering your under eye, but it's also supposed to be treating it. So I really like this as well. It's a pretty big package too. It's about 15 milliliters compared to any other liquids I use. This seems to be like the biggest one there. Like the second biggest is the Maybelline Adria one that only has 6 milliliters of product. So this is heavy duty. And last but not least, this concealer might be my holy grail. It has the same texture and feel as my Erno Lazslo concealer, same coloring as well, and I'm just really happy with this, and I use this on most days. And this is the Stila Stay All Day Concealer in Honey. As you can see, I used a lot of it. It's light. I think it's maybe 1 shade lighter than my actual skin tone, but it blends really well with the Bobbi Brown concealer. I apply this first, and then I use this afterwards, and it also provides a nice highlight look as well. Aside from one Shoppers Drug Mart Pharmaprix in Montreal, the one near Concordia University, I don't know if any other Pharmaprix, Morale, or even Sephora has it. Sephora does sell this, but in conjunction with the foundation. So you get the foundation and the lid opens up into a concealer, similar to the Lancôme Visionnaire, I think, foundation, but still it came out with theirs first. I didn't buy this here. At the Pharmaprix I found it at, it sells for $31. I found this on beautybay.com. It's a beauty store, an online beauty store that's located in the UK, and they had a sale. So this was about 19 American dollars, and at the time when I bought this, when the Canadian dollar was a lot higher, I didn't pay more than $20 for it. Here, it ranged for $31, and I find that to be a little bit highway robbery. Like, even with the exchange rate, I think here in Canada we're still getting cheated price-wise when it comes to certain products. But no, I really like this. It has a really nice texture. It's creamy, but it's not drying. Very minimal creasing. As you've noticed, a lot of these concealers do crease on me, but that's because of my eye type. And what I actually use to set that under eye concealer, I tend to gravitate a lot towards the NARS Translucent Crystal Light Reflecting Setting Powder. It's a loose powder, and I really like this one. It does the job. I'm not one to use setting powders all the time. but I do use this one every day to set my under eye concealer, and anywhere else I've placed my camouflage concealer just to set everything and blend it all nicely. Other ones that I like using are, these are sample sizes, the Tarte Smooth Operator Amazonian Clay Finishing Powder. This is very nice. It's translucent. I find the best powders to use, in my opinion, are the translucent ones, because it does blend well into the skin. It doesn't cake up, versus colored powdered powders. I tend to use those as like a foundation in the summertime. I just don't like applying over what I already have. I don't like cake face. And another loose powder, I'm sorry, that I really like is the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. This is gorgeous. I just love this, but for my everyday I use the NARS one. I think it's because this is a bigger packaging and I pay like 30 bucks for it. I want to get my money's worth, whereas this is a lot more expensive, and I like the bigger, fuller version. That's why I use like the smaller version as I guess a ration. I don't know. But yeah, and so basically that pretty much rounds up my concealer review. Most of the concealers, as I mentioned, are great. As you notice, there's like a little bit all over the place. Most of them you can find at Sephora or at your drugstore. I know Clarins is sold at the Bay, Hudson's Bay, and at I believe Jean Coutu and Pharmaprix, Shoppers Drug Mart. NARS is only at Sephora, Holt, Renfrew, and Murale. Personally, I go to Holt Renfrew because the staff there is amazing, and I've just been going there for a long time when I purchase my NARS and Laura Mercier products. Laura Mercier can be found as well as Holt Renfrew and at Sephora. Again, I would go to the one at Holt Renfrew because the manager there is absolutely amazing. Hannah is amazing. Now she left and now works at Makeup Forever, and I do look forward to trying out their products there, and she's absolutely amazing. But also Laura Mercier sold at Sephora as well. Stila, this is tricky. The concealer is sold in conjunction with the foundation at Sephora and at most Murale and Shoppers Drug Mart. The only Pharmaprix Shoppers Drug Mart that I found that sells this individually is the bigger one that's on St. Catherine Concordia in Montreal. Otherwise, you can find this alone on beautybay.com. They offer free shipping, and once in a while they also offer free express shipping to Canada, so that's good to look into. And Bobbi Brown Corrector. This one can be found at Holt Renfrew, at Sephora, and at Murale. I recommend you go to Holt Renfrew because the staff there is amazing. Ask for Stephanie. She is like an amazing makeup artist at Bobbi Brown, and she's the best. So if you're in Montreal and you're looking to get a corrector, go to Bobbi Brown and ask for Stephanie. And Josie Maran is exclusive to Sephora, but you can also get this on her website. And on Josie Maran Cosmetics, they do ship to Canada, and when you purchase $25 and up, you get free shipping, which is great. But then again, if you want that instant gratification, you can go to Sephora, but when you compare their prices in the US and here after exchange rate, you know, you might end up saving, sorry, that's my phone. You might end up saving more money if you order it online from Josie Maran's website. And MAC sold at Hudson's Bay and at MAC stores across the country, and online as well. So that pretty much rounds it out. Thank you for watching, and I'll try and come back more often with videos. It takes some time to get into the groove of things, and as you may or may not know, it is a lot of work to film and to edit. So I hope you guys have a nice weekend. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!